The scene opens with a ballroom, a shot panning from above, over the dance floor. Nobles dressed in finery, in sync as a group with a choreographed dance. As we pan, the dancers blur, and we focus in on a clockwork chandelier. Intricate bits and bobs, lowering, raising, rings spinning. Just before we pass beneath, we see a maker's mark, the emblem of Nick Shae's craft. The dancers come back into focus as we see Nick Shae amongst them, with a lack of confidence in her step, though she is not deterred as she dances to and fro. The screen goes black. We see sparks erupt from the impact of a hammer, and for a few moments, we see Nick surrounded by darkness. The sparks lighting her form, welder's mask, apron, gloves. The scene changes to Nyx in the same work attire, but no mask, looking over blueprints. And then black. The hammer falls once more, sparks lighting Nyx, then black, then back to the ballroom, focused on a vinyl, spinning on a phonograph. The shot raises, and we see Nyx on the dance floor, now with a partner, a fellow Faun. As Nyx does a spin, we pan up to the balcony, atop the stairs. Anton and Dana Shae looking down at their daughter. We get a close-up of Anton, giving a slight smirk as he turns to Dana and offers a hand as they make their way down the stairs. And then black sparks as the hammer falls. We switch back to the workshop. An over-the-shoulder shot from what looks like a large metal construct. The camera looking down at Nyx with the table and blueprints behind. The construct lowers towards Nyx as she takes a glove off and wipes sweat from her brows. We switch to the dance floor. Nyx collecting herself after the spin, straightening her dress, wiping her brow. As a final hammer falls, sparks light the room as well as Nyx. She raises the mask and wipes the sweat from her brow, and the scene changes to a morning shot in the wilderness, winter, snow-covered. As the shot pans through the woods, we see a clearing. In the distance, Yazaro, kendo stance, lifting her great sword and bringing it down. And again, we get a close-up of the training, standing in a circle of dirt, and we see why no snow stays long in her vicinity, as we get a close shot of her dramatically bringing the sword down. A brief second, the wind swirls and the snow surrounding the dirt retreats a bit further. The camera pans around as she continues swinging up and down, until the camera gets in front of her and the sword drops down upon it. Changing the scene, the camera pans up from a shot of a floor, a wooden floor, to a scene inside an airship. We see Yazara and Finger Nipples sitting at the bar, both laughing. Then Yazara takes a long pull from a blunt and passes it down to Finger Nipples. We see papers, grinded herbs on the bar before them. The shot focuses on Finger Nipples for a moment as he begins to take a pull, but then looks up to Yazara. As we switch focus to Yazara, eyes bloodshot, grinning in a daze. A lone finger attached to a chest comes into frame as it taps her on the face. Yazara screams, and the camera zooms in down her throat as the scene changes. As the camera zooms down from a shot in her room, Yazara sitting on her bed, gazing upon a picture. We get a close-up of the photo. Yazara and her new friends in a fun pose. Yazara towering above the three. And then we pan up to Yazara smiling, an emotional expression. We see the window of the airship behind her, the clouds passing by, as the camera shoots past the emotional orc and heading straight into the window, as the scene changes to a window that raises up, but not to the sky, but into a library. The bookshelves are empty, but there are stacks of books on a table in the center, with piles of books strewn about on the floor. We see quick cuts of Gingko, close up, a book open, flipping pages, looking thoughtfully. Behind them a scene plays, quickened, but in reverse. Gingko speeding up a bookshelf ladder, replacing a book. And another quick cut to the other side of the library. Another book, Gingko flipping pages. The scene behind, still in reverse. Gingko speedily replacing books. One final cut, a room shot once more. The books all return to the shelf, save for one. Gingko closes this book, a determined look on their face, as they quickly in reverse return the book to the final empty slot in the shelf. The shot from atop a ladder, peering down as she slides the book in. The camera lifts towards the darkness of the ceiling, then drifts back down. Down into the streets we see Gingko, a poise of confidence, hands behind their backs, sauntering down the cobblestone street. Two red rope figures leap from a side alley with weapons drawn. They begin to strike. Time stops. The music stops. But Gingko continues to stroll, unfazed, passing the assailants until they are out of frame. We get a zoom in as she reaches into her coat and pulls out a pistol. We get the full shot back on Gingko. Pistol raised, she dramatically turns, aims, and fires. The screen goes black. From the black, we zoom out from a dark alley. It appears to be the same scene we just left, as two glowing eyes appear in the darkness. Then a figure steps forward. A waist-up shot. It appears to be one of Gingko's attackers from before, but they look down towards the ground past camera view. Give a look of as it appears they are gingerly stepping over something on the ground out of shot. As they finish, we see the skin on their face warp, their hair grows, and we see the favored form of Dwen as the morph completes and she steps out of frame. The scene then changes to the interior of a witch's hut, panning across various baubles shelved or hanging. The shot stops on the back of a short figure wearing a large witch hat over a cauldron. Then, from the opposite direction comes a floating Dwen lazily on her broom. The figure in front of the cauldron raises a hand and snaps a finger. The broom shoots upwards, Dwen flying off, but dexterously landing, shooting a look of scorn towards the figure. The shot changes. In front of the figure, a green-skinned old hag, ladling something from the cauldron. A dripping doll in the ladle, she waddles over and plops it on the table, gesturing towards Dwen. The shot ends with a zoom in on a drenched doll as Dwen steps over to the table, and then zooms out to a clean doll, simple stitched ragdoll, with faux pixie wings and faux elf ears flopping at Dwen's belt as she runs through a cavernous tunnel. We get a shot of Dwen reaching a large chamber and skidding to a halt, turning towards her pursuers. The assailants come into the frame. Two insectoids wielding spears. One lunges towards her, but she quickly draws her rapier, parries and riposte. The creature's bodily fluid spraying from the wound as it lands on its back and curls in its legs. The other one rushes forward, and Dwen pulls the doll from her belt, whispers to it. The faux wings flutter, and wispy magic flows from the doll and wraps around the legs of the insect man, tripping it. Without hesitation, Dwen leaps on the creature, driving her rapier into its chest. A long shot of Dwen slowly standing, now rising in the air in this large cavern, and opening from above, letting in a red beam of light. The camera flies towards Dwen before beginning to circle. We now see Nyx standing, rising up, and then Yazara, Gingko, and back to Dwen. The camera circling as they are rising upwards towards the glow. Then we get the shot of the four heroes standing side by side. Dramatic poses. The large ominous red star lowering from above, behind our heroes, enveloping the sky, but allowing for an epic silhouette. And then the title drops.